We make furniture for schools, libraries, businesses, anything from chairs to technology carts.
Soft seating that has USB charging capabilities and powered seating. We learned about EPDM through Graphic Systems. What they did is they came in and helped us define some of our processes, helped us work through the intricacies of workflows and transitions, kind of introduced us to that concept. And they let us define the process and the workflow, and they helped us tailor the workflow to what we needed.
We moved from Workgroup to EPDM because we wanted to implement processes and procedures and create a workflow that drives the process.
I think it was a logical step. I mean, we were working with Workgroup, and we have SOLIDWORKS, and the next transition would be to EPDM.
Graphic Systems really primarily gave us a starting point and a focal point of how we should start the migration, and took us through some key components of that migration.
So having that one key contact throughout the whole implementation and then also servicing us from that point forward has been a big advantage.
The user interface, I think everybody appreciated the amount of things that you could do. The search capabilities, being able to view every file in a little preview window, get bills of materials right on the fly, and export them out to Excel. Little bells and whistles like that, and these are all things that you can't do with Workgroup.
One of the challenges that we had with Workgroup was the size of the database itself. We were at our maximum limit on the size of Workgroup. So when our engineers would come in, it was very inefficient for them to work, being that we were maxed out on the database side.
The typical problems that we would encounter would be with like revision control.
Now with Enterprise, we work within the vault, we modify our parts, and then we transition them through states until it arrives at the individual that's going to program it. At which time then we can notify them, tell them here's where the file is. There should be a note in there explaining what needs to be done, and that way it's automatic notification too, as whereas before you had to rely on making sure you sent the email.
So that's another key thing, is that they get a notification. So it doesn't just go into a file, or it's not, I sent this to you, I didn't get the email. We know exactly who has what and how long it's been there. So it really holds people accountable, because there are date stamps and there's ways to track how long things have been in a certain state. That's a big advantage for us as well.
We would frequently run into the issue where maybe programmed the wrong revision, or they had an old file and they thought that it was up to date, so they didn't really use the most up-to-date file.
There would be multiple copies of the same file out there. And because they would be located in different areas, they never overwrote each other. Whereas now you're forced to use the current version.
The benefits that we saw of EPDM is that we can create, with a click, you can create a project folder with subfolders and all the documentation that you need for a project right there, and the project engineers don't have to really think about what has to be done. They just have to look at the list of documents and make sure they get filled out. So that was a huge step for us, clarifying things and being able to get people, new hires, up to speed much faster than whatever used to happen in the past.
So right now we're getting phone calls from manufacturing, and we have another plant, and they're calling us and they're saying, you know, I can't get to the old rev level. And by them not having access to old revision levels, or sometimes they would take a rev level that wasn't quite ready to be released yet, and they would try to implement an ECO ahead of time. By getting these phone calls, it proves to us that the system is working. It's doing exactly what we wanted it to do. It's preventing them from working the old way, where they can go and grab whatever they wanted and make whatever they want.
There's not only a savings in just the immediate of having the file in one place at one time and not creating multiples, but there's also the savings of not doing things incorrectly. You want to be able to produce a good part the first time, every time. And we try to really do that. This has helped us.
I would recommend EPDM because of the ability to dictate the processes and workflow and control it. Have control over it and hold everyone that's in that workflow accountable. It's helping us in a lot of ways that we didn't even realize would be beneficial to us when we first implemented it.